I'm Sonya.
I'm Beverly.
And today we're dishing with you from Food, Wine, and Company, located in Bethesda at 7272 Wisconsin Avenue.
Sometimes we get out of D.C.
We do.
Just a little bit.
It's a good thing, just over the border, but look at all this fabulous food. You've got the hickory burger and the chips. You've got a great beet salad, and they're also really fabulous entrees. They do fish really well here. So you have the salmon entree, and look at all this beer.
And they take care of you really well. They gave me my own little bucket.
You have to share.
We are having beer flights today, but we're located in Food, Wine, and Company's wine library. You should see all of the wines behind us. This is definitely a great place to be, here or in the dining room.
We're here now with Teri Galvez. She is a candidate for the Republican National Committeewoman from D.C. And first and foremost, I guess a lot of people may not know that D.C. has a representative.
Yes, D.C. has 3 representatives, actually. The 3 leadership positions for the party in each state. And D.C., even though we're not a state, we're a non-state, we're still considered like a state to the Republican National Committee. And each state gets 3 representatives. The chairman, or chairwoman, the committee man, and the committee woman.
And you're running for chairwoman.
Right.
So you want to lead things. What do you want to do?
Well, the main thing is I want to reach out to our diverse communities here in D.C. Traditionally, these are not Republican voters. And my goal is to change that. I think that we can reach out and reach some of these individuals because they care about the same things that we care about. I mean, let's face it, all of us care about the same issues. We care about education. We care about smaller government. At least I hope we do, because certainly that's an area that has grown a lot in these past 4 years. But, we care about bettering our schools and having a better infrastructure in D.C. and just basic bread and butter issues that we all care about. And so my goal is to reach out to these communities and spread sort of the Republican message and why we...
And you're Republican, but you're also a Latina, so you're absolutely talking about the groups that you want to reach out to. Do you feel sort of like you're the odd man out amongst a whole bunch of Republicans?
Sometimes, because I get that question a lot, like, how can you be Republican? But if you look at the Latino community, they are very conservative. And I'm not a single-issue voter, but my mother is a single-issue voter. She's a perfect example. She is someone who was a Democrat, but became a Republican on one issue, and that is she's pro-life. She's very Catholic, and she's pro-life. And she is just indignant when she thinks about the fact that Catholics could even consider being, anything but Republican. She's unusual in that respect because most voters don't vote that way. But she's an example of a Latino that crossed over because of the fact that she's pro-life. My father was a member of a labor union. He never understood why the guy that worked next to him, who didn't work as hard as he did, was getting a salary increase. And he worked twice as hard, and he was getting the same salary increase. So he became very anti-union. He was a member of the machinist union, so he became Republican. So I think that I think everybody has their own epiphany. For me, it became more of, I wasn't necessarily affirmative action, bilingual education. Those weren't the things that really resonated with me when I was younger and sort of questioned what the 2 parties were and why I selected the Republican Party. So for everyone it's different, and maybe people who have children in the schools question why in D.C. we're not doing better for their kids, and maybe that's enough of a reason to come over to the other side.
Have you held a public office before? What is your leadership criteria?
Oh my gosh, never. No, this is so out of my comfort zone, really. I've never done anything like this, and in D.C. you run citywide, so you run like a city council race. You get 300 names, 300 signatures to get on the ballot. I got 663, so I got 120% more than I needed, which is great. But then you are a candidate for office, and you run like a city council race citywide, except only Republicans can vote for the
So how
candidates.
heated is this race? Is this like...
Well, I do have opposition.
Okay.
Yes, we're very different candidates, which is great. There's no similarities other than we're both Republican. There's a second similarity, and she's in the real estate business, and we do a development project in Mexico.
And she's a woman.
And she's a woman.
In D.C. we don't have a lot of women running for any office.
National Committee woman, and then there's a Republican National Committee man.
Okay, thank you for making that
What exactly exactly do you do? Are you the person who, when we see the convention, and they say District of Columbia, is that who
Well,
you are?
no, that is actually, well, for example, that would be the delegates for the convention. And for example, if Romney were to become the candidate, then I actually would be that person who would be, well, maybe not the person, the lead person in the delegation would do that. But that's what the delegates do. But the committee woman and committee man and the chair vote on the budget for the RNC. And the RNC's principal role is to hold a convention, to raise money for candidates, and of course to get the presidential candidate, whoever becomes the nominee, elected. So that's their principal role as a party. And my role would be to vote on the budget and serve on a committee, whether it be the platform committee or whatever committee I choose to serve on or I get on.
Do you have to be even-keeled about whoever wins the nomination, or can you push somebody who you want to win?
Well, for example, if in D.C. Newt Gingrich was to become the nominee, then his delegates would be, but as a party person, if I were to become committee woman, I would have to support the candidate for the party. But as a Republican, I would do that anyway, because I feel that any of our candidates are better than Barack Obama.
No, we're in an election year that's really focused on the presidential election. How hard or how easy is it to be running whenever everyone's focused on the presidential election, to have an election going on whenever it's not really the main focus? Do you think more people are paying attention to the ballot because everyone's going to vote this year? Or?
Well, I think that, the election is the presidential election that everybody's looking at and talking about and, watching on, I'm obsessed watching Fox and MSNBC and, flipping channels from channel to channel to get the, especially with Florida being so exciting.
Right.
But I have a whole crew of young Republicans that are really on Team Teri and excited, and they've been out helping me. So, there are people who do follow local races, and it means a lot to them. And, this is the representative that they are sending to the Republican National Committee, so it does matter.
One quick final question. You said that you wanted to reach out to groups of voters that typically aren't GOPers. What's been the response?
It's been good, but I think one of the things that I bring to the table that is rather unique is that so many people who run for office they say, and I want to do this and I want to do that. I've already been in the Latino community. I've worked with entrepreneurship programs in Columbia Heights and Adams Morgan with business organizations, Latin American Latino Economic Development Corporation and the like. So I've already been out there in the community for many, many years because I've lived in D.C. for 17 years. I've lived in the D.C. area for almost 25 years. So the response has been good. People are receptive because they already know my face. I'm not a stranger sort of coming to them for the first time offering my opinions on politics. They're people who have seen me in the community. So, I think our party many times does our communities a disservice by thinking that outreach is doing a photo op with an African American or Hispanic person, embracing them, and you've done outreach. It's much more than that. It's building this foundation, and that's what I would have to, that's what I would be offering. The second important thing is within this, the mantra of the Republican Party is to reach out to Hispanics and African Americans and persons of color, and they have lost a lot of the Asian support as well. So it's not just, they've lost communities of color in general. The Democratic Party, they're very disillusioned right now with Obama. So I also bring an added thing that when the mantra is to reach out to constituencies of color, that there are only 2 representatives out of 168 that are Hispanic. A woman from Colorado, Lily Nunez, and Zoraida from Puerto Rico. Well, Puerto Rico, of course, she's going to be Hispanic, so I would only really be the 3rd representative in the Republican National Committee that would be Hispanic. So it would be a real big milestone, I think. It's an important milestone, and especially for D.C., because we are an urban party. We're very different. Our issues are different. We have a very diverse party. We have, African Americans, Hispanics, gays. I mean, we're a Big Ten. I mean, the District of Columbia is a perfect example of a Big Ten party.
Well, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
And we know that regardless of whether you win this one or not, we'll be seeing your face. So best of luck to you. Teri Galvez, she's running for DC's Republican National Committee Woman. If you'd like to find out more about Teri and her candidacy, check out her website. And if you'd like to know more about the district dish, who we'll be dishing with, check us out right here next time.